Janitor. Night Watch. A psychological thriller. Chapter 1. The Stranger. Circle of Gluttony. Are you lost? I know it's a stupid question. The boy is scared. His eyes are wet with tears and his shoelaces are untied. He trembles and looks around, but he's too frightened to walk down the dark mall corridors or to call for help. In short, it's obvious he doesn't live here. Although you can actually live in a modern shopping mall. In fact, lots of people do. Rent in a big city is expensive, and people who work low-paid jobs don't have much money. The solution is simple: to live at your workplace. I've heard some Filipinos and Chinese do it, and, for example, I don't even look different from them. To the locals, definitely. Getting food is easy. You can buy it at a supermarket or the food court. They write off heaps of food at the end of the day, and begging a burger that's only a couple of hours past its sell-by date is a piece of cake. You can wash up in a restroom on any floor. Charge your phone in any outlet. You can sleep in a storage room, under a service staircase, or in one of the empty kiosks. The only people who might find you there are other mall workers, and none of them will turn you into management. We look out for each other. Other people? Try to remember the last time you even noticed a mall worker. I don't mean security guards or staff in trendy shops. I mean us. Cleaners, floor washers, plumbers, and mechanics. Exactly. Basically, you can go years without stepping outside, which is what I pretty much do. This is where my job is, this is where my friends are, and this is everything I need to live. Sometimes I wonder, is this why I came to this strange big city? But there isn't much time between shifts. You need to sleep, take care of your private matters, and the chance to change anything is gone. Sometimes I joke that I'm so attached to this building I'll leave only when they bulldoze it flat. So I walk up to the boy, bend down to look him square in the eyes, and repeat my question. He nods. He looks at me warily. My appearance is unusual. Maybe his parents told him to beware of outsiders. Stupid. If you're a little boy, you should be wary of everyone. I point at my uniform vest and at the badge with my name and job title. It's sort of my responsibility to keep this place in order, make sure everything stays where it's supposed to be, closed doors remain closed, no one smokes on the stairwells, and the restrooms get repaired on time. So a lost kid after closing hours technically becomes my responsibility too. He doesn't know where his parents are or why they left him here. That might surprise you, but it doesn't surprise me. Sometimes people simply lose their minds. You've heard the stories. Adults leaving their kids in locked cars on scorching days, the children baking alive. Kids dragged into stores on Black Friday and trampled to death by crowds blinded by discounts. Kids allowed to pet tigers through cage bars, and the tigers tearing their arms off. It happens more often than you think, so I'd rather not dwell on who this boy's parents are. Maybe they're just drunks who grabbed some discounted beer and forgot their little treasure. Not my business. My business is to get him out of here and hand him over to, say, the police. They can deal with the rest. I take the boy by the hand and lead him along. He doesn't resist. After all, I look like an official employee, and the mop in my hand probably makes me seem more authoritative. I sigh. And the evening had started so well. I work the night shift. I like it. Daytime is chaos. Too many people, too many questions, too many ridiculous complaints. Night is different. I can walk the floors at my own pace, straighten things here, pick up trash there, and go back to the storeroom to finish my sleep. I can even have a little drink. I enjoy that quite a lot. So yes, the evening started great. I woke up, had a wonderful meal. Someone had tucked away a bag for me in the storage room. A burger combo, fries, and a milkshake. The milkshake was my favorite. Honestly, I like those even more than whiskey. Besides, they say we don't handle alcohol well. Low tolerance, easy to get drunk, easy to get rowdy, all that. Better stick to sweet milk. After that, I went to wash up and rinse my mouth. And right by the restrooms on the 3rd floor, in a narrow space behind the endless food stalls and counters, I came across this boy. Something comes back to me. We stop walking. My English isn't very good, but I try to calm him down so he doesn't make noise. Noise is the last thing we need. I start undressing him. They turn off the mall cameras at night to save power. Only the ones by the entrances and stairwells stay on. probably for the best. No one would like seeing a migrant worker taking clothes off a little boy. The boy stays quiet. Either he's afraid of me or he trusts any adult. I take off his worn-out little pants, his cheap bright jacket, and the 2 big sneakers. Then I put it all back on him, inside out. Jacket and pants with the seams on the outside, and the sneakers, barely, right shoe on the left foot. Good thing they're too big for him. This will be better for now. We need to get through 3 floors. Some areas have faint night lighting, mostly over the wide open spaces and the larger stores. We can't take the stairs. There are cameras and an alarm system there. The only option is to go down the power-off escalator. You know how escalators in shopping malls are deliberately designed to be inconvenient? So a potential customer has to pass as many storefronts as possible before reaching the next floor? This works well for the retailers, but for us right now, not at all. It's not about the security guards. Security guards sleep, almost always ignoring their required night rounds. And honestly, that's reasonable. The overly diligent ones sometimes vanish without a trace. It's the visitors, the guests of the mall. At night, there are just as many of them here as during the day. All kinds of people, but they share something in common. Trust me, you don't want to see them. Not that you would see them, unless you're a psychic, a shaman, or you're carrying a stone with a natural hole in it, a chicken god. Cats see them. Then again, cats see everything. And children see them. And they see children. The inside-out clothing should help, but you can never be completely sure. It's autumn now, the season of darkness, depression, malice, and big sales. Night visitors are stronger than ever at this time of year, except of course for the days before Christmas. We walk past the food court. I hold the boy's hand tightly. I told him there was nothing to be afraid of, but children always feel when adults are lying to them. The guests on this floor want only one thing: to gorge themselves, to gnaw on bones, choke down buns, sweets, rolls, noodles, and ice cream. To shove into their mouths everything they can chew. Before the end of the shift, all leftovers must be cleared from trash bins and tables. Crumbs swept off the tables, trays with food remnants put away. Lock cabinets and refrigerators securely. They try to keep track of this, but it's useless. Once guests settle on this floor, they cannot be fully gotten rid of. They come again and again. The boldest even appear during the day. Next time, look closely at that persistent vagrant asking you to buy him a burger, leave him a soda, or let him finish a slice of pizza. You've probably seen pigeons on the food court more than once. These brazen birds fly inside, strut across the tables, peck right from your tray. But none of them stay until the next morning. Where do you think they go? Now, between the counters, kiosks, and tables, sloppy, long-armed silhouettes scuttle here and there. They peer under chairs, reach into trash bins. They shake fridge doors, lick countertops, rustle hamburger wrappers. The moment one of them spots any edible piece, the rest rush toward it, pushing and shoving each other. They themselves resemble a flock of disgusting, grotesque pigeons, very dangerous pigeons. We need to pass by. Nearby is a little train, you know, the kind with carts that takes kids around the floor for a couple of coins. Right now, it looks like salvation. Sit down, pull the lever, and ride. The guests are slow and fat. They won't catch up with a toy train, except this is a very bad idea. The train wants exactly that. Sit on it at night, and what comes out at the end of the ride, drooling and trembling, will no longer be a normal child. The train loves despair and fear, and it hates children, just like its operator. I can't imagine what a grim 40-year-old man making a living by carting kids on a toy train thinks. I suspect he's long stopped seeing any meaning, hope, or joy in life. And that's why he loves to take it from others. The train and the operator are united in this. Luckily, he's not on duty right now. Praise all ancestors. Creepy guy. So we walk. Slowly, the boy's shoes slow him down. The guests don't notice us. One of them has found a cup of soda, and they roll it across the floor, trying to steal it from each other, lick it, at least sniff it. We're almost past when we hear a hoarse, gurgling whisper.
"Bowie, do you want to buy?"
I flinch. The boy almost bolts. Behind one of the columns, I see a guest, a disgusting creature, folds of fat covered in grayish-white fuzz. It's very close. Black button-like eyes are fixed on us. Actually, on the boy.
Give me your finger, and I'll share the pie. Just one finger.
The creature reaches toward us. In its hand is something that really looks like a piece of cooled puff pastry. Something dark red glints. I hope it's cherry jam. Really hope. Not all lost visitors leave on time. I grip my mop tighter. The boy hides behind me. I can smell his fear. And a little chocolate. Something's wrong. The guest shouldn't have spotted him so easily.
Or you eye.
The creature creeps closer.
Finger or eye for the pie.
I swing the mop. The guest grimaces in a crooked smile full of jagged black teeth. A sweet garbage-like stench hits me.
I'll call.
It says, and I understand what it means. If it screams, all its kind will swarm us, and then things will get very bad. But it hesitates. Something excites it. A smell. And it's not just the boys. I suddenly realize. Chocolate. I swat the mop toward the guest and quickly turn to the boy. I see a bulge in his jacket pocket. I slip my hand in and pull out the partially melted Snickers. It soils my hands. I barely turn back to the guest, and it lunges at me. I jam the mop into its enormous wobbling belly, and it lets out such a primal, guttural wail that all the creatures on the floor turn toward us. I throw the chocolate into the midst of the crowd. They pounce, tear it apart at each other, hiss, wheeze, and shove aside the luckier ones. Our persistent acquaintance stares at us for a long moment, then squeals and dives into the melee. I use the chaos to hurry forward. The boy, pale with terror, follows. There's the escalator. It doesn't work, but that doesn't matter. We've crossed the 3rd floor. Chapter 2. Circle of Vanity. The 2nd floor should be easier. For a while, I allow myself to think that we'll get through it without problems. I even get distracted by my usual work. I fix a fire extinguisher about to fall off the wall, press it back into place, and glue down a piece of flooring that had come loose, so no one trips. Just in case, I wrap one of the wires in tape. It's frayed a little. On the 2nd floor, we have jewelry shops, cosmetics kiosks, and fashion boutiques. The guests here are mostly absorbed in themselves. They barely notice anything around them, trying on luxurious fur coats and insanely expensive jewelry, smearing their long mole-like faces with makeup, dousing themselves in tester perfumes, posing in front of mirrors in every possible way. It's all, of course, a complete waste of time. They don't appear in mirrors. They're mostly harmless. Yeah, sometimes I have to put clothes and shoes back in place after them. Sometimes pick up fallen mannequins, but that's about it. Sometimes I almost feel sorry for these creatures. Like the ones who come during the day, they're profoundly unhappy. They know they'll never be able to get the things they want, yet they still crave them. They want to look important and rich, but deep down they're afraid. Are they ridiculous? Are their own kind laughing at them? I think daytime guests are the same. People willing to spend their entire income on a bag just because some word is written on it. Sometimes the night guests from this floor decide to show up during the day. You've probably met them. Noisy, fussy visitors who enjoy tormenting a salesperson, trying on a dozen coats and half a dozen dresses, criticizing everything and eventually leaving without buying a thing. We move across the floor, and the guests ignore us completely. The fall collection has just been put out. The guests have rummaged through the shops. Locks and doors mean nothing to these creatures, and made a real spectacle. By morning, though, they'll try to put everything back where they found it. Only near the escalator does one of the creatures notice the boy. He's probably too scared, and too poorly dressed. Those things attract the guest. It immediately feels more confident. The creature is dressed in a luxurious shawl over some bright sari. Around its neck, a tangle of trinkets, cheap beads paired with a sleek minimalist chain. Turquoise patent leather boots complete the look. Who even buys this stuff? I step back a little to adjust one of the flickering lights and lose the moment. The guest is already holding the boy by the hand, with both of his own hands. He seems obsequious, but there's pressure in his fawning.
Tell me, young man,
The guest says in a theatrical tone.
How do I look? Not bad, huh?
The boy is still small, and he can't lie. Children can't lie. At some point, adults teach them how.
Funny.
The boy says. He shouldn't have said that. The guest's mole-like face twists with anger. The trinkets on his neck jingle. I barely manage to intervene. Excuse me, I say. We're closing soon. Can I help you with anything? Maybe show you some cheaper options? At first glance, these phrases make no sense, but these are exactly the words second-floor guests hate the most. The creature switches its attention to me.
That's unthinkable!
It shouts.
I won't let this go. Call the manager immediately. Do you hear me? Immediately.
I smile politely and nod submissively. One moment, please. The manager will be right over. I take the boy by the hand again, and we leave. The guest stays behind. He'll stand there until morning. It's happened many times before. He doesn't even imagine that some janitor might refuse his demand, a customer's demand. But I know he's no customer. The second floor is behind us. Chapter 3, Circle of Envy. We'll exit the mall on the first floor, and the main danger is ahead. No, we could have gone around, taken the 0 level, where the underground parking and liquor stores are. But even we, the janitors, avoid that area. The malice, envy, and anxiety of the drivers and drinkers attract such guests that I only go down there after dawn, just to tidy up a bit. No choice. We have to go through the first floor. There are no guests on the first floor. The first floor is all children's stores, and the worst part, a lot of toys. The toys on the first floor aren't there by accident. They're placed so that a child spotting the object of their desire has time to mess with their parents' minds, obviously. The visit to the mall starts on the first floor, and the little one sees a plush animal, a building set, or a transformer. Naturally, beautiful and expensive, they don't display anything else. The parents, of course, aren't ready for that kind of spending. They try to bribe the child with routine for Christmas and for your birthday, hoping that their beloved child will forget about the latest whim. It's good if the child is still small and believes that lie. But by age 5 or 6, a healthy child knows that later, in adult language, usually means never. And they have to ask now, because later on their birthday, they'll just hear the usual, "We never promised you that." So the child clings to the parents all the way from the first floor to the third, and then back down to the first. Sometimes they buy the toy, but more often, they don't. All this leaves a mark on the toys themselves. They hate it when they're not bought. You see, originally, the main task of toys, their ancient true purpose, is not to make profit for the toy factories or stores. That purpose is to bring joy to children. So the dream of every self-respecting toy, every cowboy, robot, or dinosaur, is to be purchased, to be played with, loved, cherished, and tucked into bed. You know it's unpleasant when you can't do your job, and children in toy stores often cry, which makes it twice as unpleasant. But that's not the worst part. The worst part, the discounted toys, those who weren't bought, and those who probably never will be, which is why they end up in those horrible metal bins labeled 75% off everything, or everything $5. They're taken off their shelves. They lie there in a heap, like in a mass grave. The exit from the mall on the first floor goes through the toy store. It's the only exit I have a key for. I'm not allowed to use the others. We have strict rules, and there's no security at this one. I don't want to deal with security, questions, paperwork, and other formalities. The mass grave on the first floor is located right by the exit, to give its inhabitants one last chance, and I'm sure they won't let us out. We walk past balloons, toy swords, and blasters, past little cars and building sets. The boy calms down and looks around with interest. Here, he's not scared at all. Wrongly. The girls' section we pass easily. Its sleepy inhabitants don't care about my companion. He's a boy. Only a few flutter their eyelashes, rustle their dresses, and otherwise express indignation at such a crude intrusion of men into their cozy world of porcelain, velvet, and miniature furniture. Next comes the seasonal section. Halloween is coming. Ghosts, skulls, maniacs, and pumpkins. They are even quieter. Their time hasn't come yet. Only a couple of weeks until the end of October. In any case, they are not dangerous. The exit is already close. But a long corridor of shelves filled with plush animals leads to it. Leopards, horses, tigers, and the bears. The bears. That's the worst. And several long shelves of them at once. The bears smell us from several meters away. They start shifting and growling quietly. When we approach, they freeze for a moment. But as soon as we pass, they realize that we didn't meet expectations. That we didn't choose them to buy. "Don't look back," I tell the boy. Ahead, the mass grave of discounted toys. And behind it, the checkout and the exit. Behind me, I hear the bears sliding and falling from their shelves. They are closing in on us. Do you know why there are no night guests on the first floor? Because the toys hate them. I've heard that in the old days, toys were made to protect children, especially teddy bears. A bear is a talisman, an ancient kin of humans, simultaneously ancestor and guardian. A very grumpy and capricious guardian. The basket with discounted goods topples with a crash. Its inhabitants crawl toward us like risen dead, possessed by the thirst for life. The mop is in my hands, but there are too many of them. Maybe if we had bought one of them, they would have let us pass. If we had accepted our choice. After all, what's one toy better than another? And if the boy had anything to pay with. But he hardly has even the tiniest coin, not to mention $5. It smells like trouble. I glance back, just enough to confirm that we're completely surrounded. And then I notice something that might save us. On one of the shelves sits a magnificent, oversized teddy bear. He's missing one eye. Maybe it was torn off by careless packers or merchandisers. Or maybe some wild kids ripped it out. Either way, he's damaged goods now. "They'll let us through," I say, "if you take one with you." The bears and the other toys freeze where they are. The boy looks at them.
Am I allowed?
He asks. I nod. And which one? This is the most dangerous moment. He has to choose wisely. Choose well. He gets a talisman, a protector. Choose poorly, and they might tear him apart right here, and possibly tear me apart with him. The creatures crowding around us growl impatiently. There are many of them, and these are only the ones in the light. But I know what to do. Bears are territorial predators, aren't they? I look at the one-eyed bear. He's finally woken up and turned toward us. He doesn't seem to understand what awaits him. No one is going to fix him. They'll just write him off. Maybe send him back to the factory, or maybe simply dispose of him if logistics and storage costs are too high. He won't even make it into the discount bin. In the morning, someone will notice the defect, and that'll be the end. Take that one, I say. He'll make a good friend. The bear seems to swell, growing larger. The others grow quiet. Only a few give a couple of token snorts. They acknowledge his right and his strength. They approve of the choice. Even the residents of the discount bin have better chances of finding a home. We have to pay something, I say. The bear is expensive. Judging by the boy's clothes, his parents could never afford such a toy. The boy looks at me, and I look at him. His baby teeth won't start falling out anytime soon. A fingernail, too little. An eye, too much. Are you afraid of giving blood? He shakes his head. Of course he isn't. He's a man, after all, even if he's clearly not 5 yet. I unpin my name badge from my uniform vest and bend the safety clasp back. The boy doesn't even flinch when I jab the sharp end into his finger. I squeeze out a few drops of blood onto the floor. I take the bear from the shelf and hand him to his new owner. Then I squeeze the boy's finger once more and smear the last drop across the bear's nose. Now he's yours. You got some kind of button at home, right? The lights flicker and go out. When they return a moment later, all the toys are back in their places. The path is clear. I unlock the doors. It's drizzling outside. I nudge the boy toward the exit. He hesitates, watching me. The bear in his hand stares too, with its one surviving eye. He doesn't trust me. Good thing he's still so little. An adult would have easily lost his mind. Kids endure things like this more easily. Soon enough, he'll live a normal life. Assuming, of course, his parents don't forget him somewhere again. I nod and point him down the street.
Thanks,
He says. I never did learn his name. and then he runs out into the rain. They run toward new adventures, the boy and his bear. Not that they'll get far. Down the street there's usually a patrol car parked. Well, that's the police's problem now. Chapter 4, The Foundation. I notice a little blood on my palm. I lick it off thoughtfully. It tastes good, better than whiskey or milk. A part of me says I shouldn't have let the boy go. No matter, what's done is done. I couldn't catch him now anyway, because to do that I'd have to step outside the mall. I worked here back when the place was still being built. I came as a laborer, like so many others from my country. Even my sister, not to haul bricks and cement, of course. She cooked for us, for the whole crew. We needed money, and back home there was none. This shopping mall became our home, and we still work here. My sister, first a cashier, then a cook, and now the manager of one of the food court stalls. She feeds me, leaving food for me in dark corners. I'm hard to define, something like a modern house spirit. Truth is, I was too scrawny for construction work. As a kid, I read more books than I did pull-ups. No surprise I couldn't hold that massive beam, and it broke my neck. We were all undocumented. My sister didn't know what to do, and one of the old men said that back in the day, when people built a home, they buried someone in the foundation, to make the place stand strong, to give it a guardian spirit to keep evil away. They threw me into the pit. That old man said many things, that spirits never left, that people moved out of their tents and wooden huts into high-rises, and the spirits moved with them, that the knowledge of how to live alongside them was forgotten, left back there, in the places we used to live, that this is why people no longer know how to treat spirits, and they die, and they go mad. Maybe he was right. Well, I have a job and I try to do it as best I can. Dawn is coming. I should do another pass around the floors. You never know what might be happening up there.